So I'm doing another pre-recorded drawing since these past few weeks have been rather hectic for me. I feel like I said hectic in the last one. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and look. But I decided to do a quick portrait of Gwyn from Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls. I think it's my favorite game probably ever. I know the back half of that game is flawed. I know a lot of people don't like the second half as much as the first. It's just not as polished, but man, it's just so good. The lore and the depth, the gameplay, it's just great. So I kind of wanted to do this portrait of Gwyn in his prime. Like at the height of his power, and maybe like the climax, or as high as you can get with where he was at in terms of, you know, dominance over Lordran and the world and stuff. And right before that fall, when he's beginning to realize that this undead curse is gonna undo everything that he's worked for, and maybe he's regretting his decisions about taking the Lord's soul and all that. So yeah, when I started it out, I was initially going to do it in black and white, but you'll later see that I kind of backtracked on that, decided to mess around with some color gradients because I'm not too familiar with it and I need some practice with that. I just like learning new methods, so it would be good for me to implement that more often. But I'm using a new brush in this one because I sometimes get sick of the same old thing that I'm using. And so I just need to mix it up. So I was using like a plain square brush, which has a really nice chiseled look. And I feel like it turns out pretty well, so you'll have to stick around and see how it looks at the end. Looking back, I feel like his face is... I don't know, I feel like I should have worked from reference a little more because he looks a little derpy. It is also the lighting. The values right under his lower lip are so close in value to the background color that I chose that it kind of gets lost and it looks like he's puckering, like he's going in for a kiss or something. And yeah, if I were doing this now, like, I don't know, looking back, I should have definitely used more reference, but it's whatever. It turned out okay. I was able to figure out the values, and that's ultimately what matters. That's something that I was told a ton in art school, was value is king. If you can figure out the values, everything else will fall into place. And choosing dramatic lighting has been something that's been a huge struggle for me. I don't know why, I couldn't tell you, but just trying to figure out how to make lighting look realistic has been a huge struggle. And you'll see me kind of play around with it here and struggle with it here, where it looks, I don't know, not quite right. And maybe there are just elements of lighting that I'm missing. Like I'm not paying more attention to the ambient light or adding core shadows and ambient occlusion, that sort of thing. But yeah, it just took me a lot longer than I would have liked it to because I was trying to figure out those values and how to make it look as representative as possible. And that's not always, you know, you don't always want everything to look photorealistic, and that's definitely not what I usually go for. But I want drama to be in the lighting, and you'll see me adding a bunch of rim light that really kind of pushes it to a more dramatic feel. And I think that did numbers for making it look more, I don't know, interesting to look at. It leads your eye around the canvas a lot better. So it was right around this point when I decided I should probably add color to this. It just wasn't, I just wasn't satisfied with where it was at, and I wanted to put more into it. So as I'm finishing up the details, I'm kind of thinking in my mind, what do I need to do about the color scheme? What's going to make this look the best? And that will also feel like Dark Souls, because Dark Souls has a very, very specific color palette of these like sepia washed out colors. And I wanted to get that feeling, but also inject that feeling like that color palette is just beginning in this age. Like we've reached the peak, like I've mentioned before, we've reached the peak of his reign, and now we're just about to plummet. So it kind of giving that golden age feel was kind of what I was going for. So I opted to go for something more warm and orange, just kind of lightening up some of those darker washed out tones that you see in the game. But maybe I'm thinking too hard about it all, and you know, it's whatever. It's just a sketch that I was doing, but I was really getting lost in it, which is, you know, that's what you want. You want to be able to have fun while you're doing it. So as I'm recording this, I'm listening to Punk Rocker from the new Superman movie that came out. Whew, that's a good movie. I'm a big movie buff. I love movies, and I also love superheroes. Like Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. He's just so relatable and stuff. But I also really love Superman, so I had really high expectations for this movie. I was kind of thinking that it wasn't gonna be that good. The marketing was just kind of lackluster for me. It was concerning. I was worried that it was gonna be a little too cheesy and that they'd miss the point of the character, especially with Crypto. Like, in my opinion, you can like seriously either make or break a piece of media with a character like that. It messes with your suspension of disbelief, and you had to be very, very careful about that. But it worked out like pretty well. Is it perfect? No. It's not the best superhero movie I've ever seen. It's not the best Superman movie that I've ever seen. But I loved the message, which is what I really want to talk about, because I feel like the world is just missing that goodness. And helping other people, that's kind of gone. They say in the movie, there's like, I don't know, they don't really say it in the movie, but there's the idea that being kind to other people is kind of gone out of style. And so like the quote unquote punk rock is to be good to other people, which is a really interesting idea. It was just like so inspiring to feel like, yeah, you know, I don't have to do crazy things. I don't have to impress people in order to be a good person. Like, even if it's just saving a squirrel from being crushed by a kaiju, that makes a difference, you know? That's something I love about Superman, is that he has these world-ending abilities. That's something I talked about with my brother too. It's like this guy has the ability to literally end the world. And instead, he chooses to rescue a cat from a tree, which sounds so trivial, but that's such a good example, and it's so inspiring. Like, even if you had the craziest abilities ever, like, would you still just help the old lady to cross the street? You know? He's doing things that any of us could do, but he's doing it with, I don't know, doing it on steroids. It's elevated to a crazy level, and I just hope that people feel the same way as I do when they see that movie, that it's really all about helping people, and that's what we're all here to do. Just be kind to each other, and even if it's just a wave on the street, it could, you know, change someone's day or week or life, and yeah, just makes me want to be a better person. So anyways, that's all I got for today. You can check out my brushes in the link in the description on my GUMROAD, and go make art or something.